My name is Mike Toliver, project for history class, Dr. Pruitt. This is Retha Gray, my grandma. We're going to talk about the civil rights movement. Sister Gray, what do you think about the Brown decision in 1954 that allowed segregation inside the school of blacks?
Well, I really don't know too much about it because I was born in 19.
Okay. Okay. What do you think about black kids that go to the white schools?
Well, during the time that I was in school, we had a school called Toliver Middle School, and we had our own school. And a lot of us was bused to Plateau, Alabama, down by the Negro Cemetery in Plateau, Alabama, called Mobile County Training School. And from there, they segregated us in the late 70s because we went to those two schools, Nelson Adams and then Mobile County Training School, then Cleveland Elementary School. It went from first grade all the way up to the 6th grade. And then from the 7th and 8th, we went to Nelson Adams Middle School. That was in Plateau, Alabama. And then from there, we went to Mobile County Training School. That was from the 9th all the way to the 12th grade. Then they came in and built us a school over there in Saraland, Alabama, right in the neighborhood. And when they built us the new school, all of a sudden segregation came up. We had to be bused from there to Satsuma High School, where it was all white neighborhood. But before we even participate to going anywhere, we used to have to walk to school. It would be like 5 or 6 miles to school, and white kids be riding the bus. It'd be cold in the morning time, and they used to throw water balloons out on us and wet us up, and we'd be cold. We have to walk across the railroad track or walk down the railroad track through the white folks' neighborhood. They used to stick their dogs out there on us and different stuff. So my daddy started driving the buses in order for them to go to school, so we could get to school. But during the time when my daughter, my firstborn, they was going to school, my daddy drove school buses, and they caught the bus up there by my aunt's house, right in the neighborhood. And Daddy drove the bus every morning to make sure that our kids didn't get the same thing that we got when we was walking to school. And during that time also, the Ku Klux Klan used to burn crosses in our neighborhood. And they did a whole lot of stuff, some stuff that you wouldn't even believe that could happen, but it happened. But see, where we lived at, we had our own little section of land, and when my nieces them started going to Satsuma High School, they got introduced to pills. They didn't know nothing about no pills. White girl had gave my niece some pills, and she went to talking out her head. So she didn't know nothing about no pills. And they had to take her to, hospital and everything. When they told my dad what had happened, they had a big fight up at Satsuma High School. A big old fight, blacks against the whites. That's when my baby brother got his arm broke. The police broke his arm. And my niece Pam, they was all fighting. They was all down up under the water fountain to fight. They were fighting, and my dad went up there with an old .22 rifle in the back of his station wagon, and he was looking for the police that broke my brother arm. So they had a big old meeting at the church, Cedar Street Baptist Church at the time, and NAACP came out. Oh, it was a big mess.
What do you think about the NAACP?
Well, when I think about them, they did a lot of justice towards what had happened, at the school, that racial fight. They did a lot of justice with it. And they did a lot of justice during the time, go back that way, during the time,
More down.
during the during the time when my daughter was in high school, my daughter was in school, and the guy that she went to school with, and we were living in Mobile, Alabama, off of Spring Hill Avenue, and the guy went to the store that night, and he on his way back from the store. It's in the history book. It was on Spring Hill Avenue. They called themselves doing some initiation. And they caught the boy and beat him so bad and cut his private part off and stuck it in his mouth and had him hanging from a tree on Spring Hill Avenue. My daughter went to school with him. My daughter went to school with him, and it's in the history book, and his mama won the case against the Ku Klux Klan. But after she won the case, she died. She died. She was living in Ernst Grove Project. And like I say, it brings back a lot of angerness, and it brings back a lot of bitterness, because during that time, we couldn't even go where we go now. We couldn't even go there. And the things we do now, we couldn't do this. Because if we stepped out of line, we were breaking in somebody's house, or we done stole something from some white person. So we had a little community of our own. And the white men used to ride through our community, picking up the little black girls, you know, raping them and stuff like that.
Did you support the segregation of the races? Did you support the black kids going to the white school?
No, not really. I didn't. Because I felt as though that they just had built us a new school. Why are you going to take us from our new school? They just had built us a new school. I mean, a nice new school. And then all of a sudden, we hadn't been going to the school not even 5 or 6 years before we got, before we got transferred to the white folks school.
Doing that, what is your viewpoint to what do you think about whites?
You really want to know?
Yeah, what do you think about whites?
They was all right in their place. They was okay in their place, but I look at it like this. My mama worked for a lady named Miss Palestinian for so many years. And when my mama couldn't go, my daddy would make us get up and go to my mama's place. I didn't like the idea of going to the white folks' house, ironing their clothes. I didn't like that. Because it wasn't nothing in it. Wasn't nothing in there. You ironing their clothes and cooking their food, and they leaving their clothes all over the floor, and you got to pick up all that stuff. But I understood at that time that that's the job that my mama had. My mama had, but we had to go work in her place when she didn't feel good. When she couldn't work, we had to stay out of school and go work in her place. And the way I feel about it now, it's okay. That some things had to take place in order for things to be happening now. So what happened then, it was for a reason in order for us to be where we at now.
Were you taught that whites were superior? Explain.
No, my dad always told us, ain't nobody superior but God. Nobody. That my dad always told us, if you can't speak your mind, you might as well lay down and die. My daddy was named Samuel James Gray Sr. He was a man he was a strong man. He was a man of dignity and respect. You couldn't just talk. He didn't care what color you was. You couldn't talk to him no any kind of way. And that's what he taught us. You can't, he didn't teach us that white folks were superior. He didn't teach us that. He taught us have respect for one another, but not allow nobody to talk down to you.
Did you have white friends?
One. Her name was